All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric, here with all your wrestling deets. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about so far. We talked a little bit about a SmackDown review. We also previewed a little bit of Monday Night Raw tonight at the Barclays Center. But now, we're in the spirit of WrestleMania. So these are my WrestleMania main event moment power rankings. Like I said, I hope you like them. If you don't like them, use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net and let me know how you feel. So we can talk about it. All right. So without further ado, I have 10. So we're going to start from, the bottom of the ladder here. So at number 10, I have, of course, you have to have the first ever WrestleMania. We have the moment. We have Hulk Hogan teaming up with Mr. T against Rowdy Piper and Paul Orndorff, 1985. And I put this in here because you kind of have to pay respects to it. Obviously, I didn't watch this. This is like one of those things where you kind of see like highlights, and Muhammad Ali was part of it. But this was really big. This was very big for the world of wrestling, especially for WWF, where Vince McMahon went out and he got these big name wrestling superstars, and he kind of brought them to this big stage. He kind of, WrestleMania. It's supposed to be like the Expo, it's the Super Bowl. You have the best of the best from the world of wrestling, not just WWF, in particular, but just the world of wrestling going at it amongst one another. And it also kind of introduced the implementation of, pop culture, like celebrities starting to go to WrestleMania, being a part of the action, so to speak. And I think this, obviously, Vince, once when he pushed this product of WrestleMania, spent a lot of money. So this was essentially back in the day, this was like a make it or break it for Vince McMahon. If this went south and the product was terrible, you very much, probably would never been introduced to WWF or WWE if this WrestleMania didn't go well. But it went well. It was a huge smash hit. And, this is what it is today. It shaped the wrestling industry. This is the reason why we have WrestleMania. This is the reason why every year people have to look forward to that grandest stage of them all. You know, so I think that's pretty cool, definitely. All right, number 9, I have back to back. I have Hulk Hogan. I have Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, WrestleMania 7. So Sergeant Slaughter, essentially, he returned as an Iraqi sympathizer, um, and also he was quote unquote a fan of Saddam Hussein. Um, and in August of 1990, the United States launched Operation Desert Shield for the first Gulf War. So it kind of played into politics a little bit. And, we don't like talk, no one likes to mix sports and politics together. But when wrestling did this, where you kind of had this guy, Sergeant Slaughter, representing the, quote unquote, the bad guys, um, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh my God, are they really doing this right now? That's crazy. And then this also got a lot of people on that, like Hulk Hogan. He's the real American. He's the I am a real American. Like he had that theme song. Everybody got pumped up, and it was just like I don't know. It kind of tied in real social issues with wrestling. But all in all, I thought that was I thought that was pretty crazy the way they did it, and obviously it was a huge smash hit. So, looks like they rolled the dice and it paid off. Number 8, I have Triple H versus Chris Jericho, WrestleMania 18, 2002. This was a big deal because Triple H obviously won the Royal Rumble, and he's been champion a couple of times. Chris Jericho, he unified the WCW World Heavyweight Champion and the WWE Championship, and he was the first ever undisputed champion. He defeated The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. Um, and I don't know, I like this because it was kind of like that when Triple H got injured. He had the torn quadricep, and he came back. It was kind of like him reclaiming his throne, kind of thing. Like he had the McMahon Helmsley thing that went on for a pretty long time, and even when he was off the screen and dealing with rehab and injury, like he still had Stephanie McMahon kind of walking around WWE and like going up to these superstars and kind of kissing them and stuff like that. Which I don't know. I give respect to Triple H in that fact that you know like they're married in real life, so it's kind of like one of those things where like, dang, like if I see my girl on TV like going around like doing that, I know it's all for entertainment. So essentially, it's like seeing like like if you were dating Scarlett Johansson and watching her making out with somebody on the screen, like one of the Avengers, you'd be kind of like, oh damn, that sucks. But then it's just acting. It's just acting. So I don't know. I thought, and then Triple H came and he won and he beat Chris Jericho. So I thought that was super cool. All right, number 7, I have Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34, 2018. So a lot of people didn't see this match turning out the way it did. You kind of had this total heel Brock Lesnar who's held the title hostage for so long, and Roman Reigns comes in, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Roman Reigns is over with." Vince loves him. He's the baby boy of WWE. He's going to be the one to dethrone Lesnar. So obviously that wasn't the case. There was a lot of moments where it showed that Roman Reigns was going to lose. This guy got like more than like 5 F5s. He was F5'd on an announce table, and he kept kicking out, and kicking out. So that's what gave people hope. That's why people were like, "Oh my God, yes, he's gonna like get Lesnar out of here. Like he doesn't, fight every week, or he doesn't represent the brand every week. This guy's like a part timer." That's what Roman Reigns, I believe, called him. But fact of the matter was, Lesnar retained, and everybody was kind of like that. Like, what the heck just happened? Like, no. Like, I remember watching it with my wife, and I was like, oh, great. Now we have a whole another year of this guy. But SummerSlam, they fought again, and Roman would win. But I don't know. I thought that was, pretty good match. Kind of shaped the WWE we have now. Um, Number 6, I have Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker WrestleMania 26, 2010. This is a big deal because as an Undertaker fan and Shawn Michaels fan, this was kind of like an end of an era. It was kind of like the end of an era. You have the new guys coming up. You had John Cena just completely making a tear. You had Bobby Lashley coming up, and and this was Shawn Michaels' retirement match. Like who other the face in your last retirement match against the Undertaker himself? They made a lot of like fans like cringe when they had that Hell in the Cell match. I think it was the first ever Hell in the Cell match at In Your House, and that's when Kane made his debut. But I don't know. This was like a really big match, and you could tell after the match ended that this meant a lot to Shawn. This meant a lot to Shawn. This kept the Undertaker streak going. He was 18-0, but I don't know. Like I said before, this was a big match for Shawn, and it was kind of like seeing Shawn Michaels go out there and leave it all out on the ring. You have your one of the coworkers that you've known for your whole entire life in the world of wrestling, and I don't know if he's the guy you kind of face for the last time. Then I don't know that I think that's kind of cool. Number 5, I have Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 36, 2020. The reason why it's kind of so high on my list is because during the pandemic where there was no fans, they kind of gave these guys an empty arena. Absolutely everybody who participated in this main event. I think it was the introduction of night 2 and night 1, Saturday and Sunday. But you got to give these guys a lot of credit. Like even if the fans weren't there, you could probably tell as a competitor. Like imagine if you're out there, if you're a rock artist and you're singing and there's nobody out, and the fans jumping to your music, singing along with your music, or mosh pitting, or whatever kind of music it is. But I don't know. It's kind of discouraging. But these two superstars, they still tore the house down. Drew McIntyre kicked out of 3 F5s, and Lesnar kicked out of 4 Claymores. And at the end of it, Drew McIntyre picked up the victory, and that's why I give him a lot of credit. And I hope WWE decides to put a belt on him pretty soon because I don't know, he did such a good job holding it up during the pandemic. Number 4, I have The Rock and John Cena. I think it was WrestleMania 2013. No, wait, it could be 2013. Anyways, so this is such a big deal in the wrestling world is because you have these two iconic superstars in John Cena and The Rock, and you don't really hate any of them. You don't really root against. You don't really want one of them to lose. Like you'll be like, "Let's go Cena," and all of a sudden be like, "Oh, stop!" But the Rock's on the other side. Let's go Rock, and then you're kind of stuck in this back and forth like battle within yourself of who you really want to root for. So I think that they did really good in that. It was, I believe, it was the final match between the two, where at the end of the match they kind of held each other's hands up. and it was kind of like we did it all for the fans, and everybody loved it, and everybody into the project. And also another reason why I bring this up is because this was the reason why CM Punk, quote unquote, kind of had that pipe bomb, is because CM Punk kind of saw this as Dwayne and John headlining main event, a WrestleMania main event back to back. Like it was absolutely unnecessary in his eyes, and he deserved the push. And prior to that, he lost the belt to The Rock at the Royal Rumble when The Rock returned, and that kind of didn't really set well with CM Punk. And you could tell that like really bothered him, and you can see like from the fans the reason why they were like, oh my god, like CM Punk deserves a shot, and he really did deserve the shot. Honestly, I think WWE really dropped the ball when they gave Cody or when they gave CM Punk kind of like that. Kind of like that cold shoulder. Kind of like that, like, hey, you're not good enough to hold up the company like Dwayne is or like John Cena is. So we're just going to go ahead and give you a pass on that one. So I think that's the reason why CM Punk was so pissed off, and definitely attributed to how the wrestling world is today. Number 3, you got to mention this one. You have Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania 35. This was such a good. It was none other than a good match, but they did the promos super well. You have the 3 women main eventing WrestleMania, and that in itself is absolutely awesome. You had women's wrestling that was kind of under the bar for the longest time, and they're not really on the main event kind of map. And you had these 3 superstars working their asses off, definitely playing the game of WWE and just showcasing their skills. And they did a damn good job. And you got to tip their hat to them. And that match kind of was another reason why Becky Lynch kind of is the superstar she is today. Like, I know when I saw that triple threat match card, I was like, oh, okay, you have the UFC fighter, you have Ronda, who's been killing everybody, man. She's been throwing people around like rag dolls. And then you had Charlotte Flair, future Hall of Famer, always wins, always has the belt, always seems like she's, kind of like the quote unquote, like the cereal box. Like she's gonna be on the cereal box, some Cheerios or Wheaties or something like that, representing the WWE. And then you had Becky Lynch, who I don't know, was kind of like this, kind of like I don't want to say she's the underdog, but she was kind of like that soft underdog. You know what I mean? Like where a lot of people didn't really see her coming out from this match, and she did, and that's the reason why Becky Lynch is, she's the man, or she was Becky 2 belts. So I thought that was pretty cool. Number 2, I have WrestleMania 2000. One of the reasons why this is so high on my list is because I remember watching this one growing up, and I also remember playing a video game on my Nintendo 64, which is arguably probably one of the best wrestling games of all time. Absolutely. And then you had WWF No Mercy follow, and a couple of SmackDown Bring the Pain with Brock Lesnar on it. But we're not here to talk about video games, although video games are awesome. But anyways, so you had Triple H, McMahon, Helmsley era. He was with Stephanie. And then you had the Big Show, who was kind of promoted by Shane McMahon. And he also had The Rock, who was kind of like a Vince's guy to kind of dethrone all this just foolishness of the kids going at it. You have Triple H that was constantly cheating to win. You don't want a guy like that representing the company, so you have The Rock. And you had Linda McMahon kind of throw her hat in the ring as well and kind of bring back Mick Foley after he was constantly like just beat on by Triple H at the Royal Rumble, No Way Out, where he went through personas like Cactus Jack and stuff like that. Like it was crazy. So essentially, he had a McMahon in every corner. So that really kind of really impacted the wrestling world, is because you kind of had the chairman there kind of become a product of his own invention, if that makes any sense, because you had the 4 family members being broadcasted on cable television, as they were fighting each other, my superstar's better than you and stuff like that. And I know, I thought it was super cool to how they came out there and kind of implemented that, keep it on the regular basis that at any time Vince McMahon can come in and challenge anybody, or he can team up with my Show, and all that other good stuff. Number 1, the only reason why I kind of have this number 1 is because it was such a huge moment, and I can kind of see this happening at WrestleMania 40 this Sunday. Is I have Bret Bret Hart defeating Yokozuna, WrestleMania 10, 1994. They both fought 2 matches that night. You had Bret fighting his brother Owen. Owen got the best of him and finally was able to, beat his brother. But then you had that tie at the Royal Rumble between Bret Hart and Lex Luger, and Yokozuna defeated Lex Luger beforehand, and then he fought Bret Hart. And then the reason why I think this is such an iconic wrestling moment is because Yokozuna was just dominant. He was absolutely dominant. No one could touch him. No one could beat him. Kind of like Roman Reigns is right now. And Bret Hart came out, a grueling match with his brother before, came out, and he was able to dethrone Yokozuna and just free up that hostage WWE Championship and bring it back to kind of WWE's roster. And you saw people come out. You saw like Razor Ramon come out. You saw Randy Savage come out. They put Bret Hart on their shoulders, and they congratulated him like, "Hey, good job, man! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing the title back. Bringing the title from Yokozuna and kind of giving us all a chance to fight." You know what I mean? And I think that was super cool. And I can see like Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns, and everybody comes out, congratulates Cody, and then kind of having this nice little kind of this nice little celebration in the ring that we brought the title back down to earth. So yeah, those were my WrestleMania main events power rankings. I hope you liked them, Mike. If you didn't, give tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net so we could talk about them. All right, so now for my fourth and final segment, we're going to talk about. It's going to be a little dorky. It's going to be about Easter. It's going to be about WWE Easter dinner. So essentially, I'm going to talk about, it was so weird. We'll get into it, when it starts. Don't go anywhere.